Okay, guys, welcome back. Next part of the show, we're going to be talking about current affairs. Now, we've been hearing in the current week that Carillion has gone out of business. Can you guys tell us, what's going on?
In a nutshell, they took contracts that they couldn't afford.
Okay.
They didn't have enough. Basically, for a company to operate, you have to be liquid, which basically means you have to have cash to pay your workers, do your day-to-day stuff.
Okay.
They were taking on contracts that were way too big for them. Amongst other things, this thing dominoes, right? But they ran out of money.
Essentially, yeah.
They effectively ran out of money. Okay. Some senior stakeholders were fiddling with their books as well. It's a huge, a lot of stuff has happened in the background, and now they've had to go into liquidity.
Yeah, just to add to that, basically what was happening was that they were lowballing contracts. So lowball basically means you underbid your competitor for like a government contract. So you promise to do it for, maybe it's actually costing £80, but you promise to do it for 75. Mm. Eventually that catches up with you. Yeah. So they were winning all these contracts, government work, but the cost of it meant that they were losing money on the contracts overall. So they weren't making profit on the job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what was happening. So it's like you coming to me and saying you want to do some work for me, or I say I've got to work. I come to you three and say who can do it the cheapest, and then you say I'll do it for this. But really and truly, you're not going to be able to cover your costs on that. Yeah,
and I think a lot of that was due to the fact, as you say, it was government contracts.
Yeah, exactly.
I think people thinking the government too big to fail.
Yeah,
they won't let us fail.
That's the thing. So it became like it became a moral hazard issue, because what would happen is that once they started getting into issues, which was years ago, the government would just keep awarding them contracts, almost like
because
to keep them afloat. Yeah, to keep them afloat. So it was
because they were doing government work. The government had to keep them afloat.
They didn't have to.
They didn't have to,
but to keep them afloat,
they had to. It's like you coming to me and saying, "Listen, I employ 43,000 people. You employ 43,000 people. I need to keep these people on a job." So I say, fair enough. Let me give you another contract. Mm-hmm. But that's only gonna.
Why not just pay more in the contract?
This is government issues, right?
Why would government want to pay more? Government is trying to save money. We're broke. I'm broke.
Yeah, it's the government.
Yeah, like,
come on, we've gone through austerity. So basically, it's a more continuing the chain. So they won't pay more.
The ship's sinking though.
Yeah. The ship is sinking,
and
but
they're paying it out in the bucket rather than.
It's like the Titanic. It's sinking, but you're still trying to
So instead of plugging the hole, they're just using the bucket.
You think maybe you can still
somehow
save Jack. Confusing. Yeah. That's the problem of the world.
And the problem then arises when you see the former CEO gets paid out last year, 2016, so it's
probably too much.
1.5 million as an exit bonus, right? After, like you said, some of this work has been going on for some of these things have been going on for years, and the CEO who oversaw all of that 1.5 million payout, right? Yeah, now the contractors at Carillion are being told they're going to get, because they obviously can't be paid. Yeah. They're being told that for the money they're owed, they're going to be getting 1p for every pound they're owed. If you walked into work,
it's like 1% of what you're meant to be owed.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's very scandalous.
But surely, like, is it not better value long term for the government to bail them out completely in the first go?
It's not.
It's to pay higher.
Now you're talking about politics.
All this
now it's
happens. Because if this happens, you lose more money. You not lose more money in the long run by just keeping it afloat for a little bit.
Think about it this way, right?
Spending as much as you can now on.
Think about it this way. The government in power right now, right, have just spent a whole election saying that they can't afford to give a pay rise to the NHS. They can't afford to pay for more police officers. If they go bailing out, the army, if they go bailing out a company like this, bear in mind what happened in 2008, right? Because this isn't the first time it's happened. Capita, it's happened with them. G4S, the security company. This happens all the time. This isn't, and if they're seen bailing out another company,
the backlash.
The backlash will be huge. Now you're touching on politics now, not just rational thinking.
Economic.
Yeah.
So just to add to what Angie's been saying, it's literally, I mean, our generation, maybe you're just a little bit too young, but when the financial crisis started, they bailed out the banks. People were not happy because people lost their jobs. People were like literally struggling. A lot of people started committing suicides. Like suicide rates went up. So it's a real issue. Like it's a real contentious issue that government is seen to be basically helping fat cats or private sector. And so it opens up a completely different issue about how government works with private businesses because it's a private company. So it's not just straightforward as saying just build them out, even though that was what they were kind of doing. But it comes to a point where it becomes enough. Yeah, it becomes enough. And these guys, it's not just, you're like not paying their staff now their final wages. It's their pension.
The pension deficit
that's a massive issue.
They said the true value was
it's $1 billion.
2.3 billion.
What, it's even gone up now?
It's 2.3
because it was about
billion.
500 million before. Then it went up to 900 million.
So that's people saying, so you're losing your job.
You're losing your retirement as well.
Your retirement.
So everything's just gone.
It's a mess. It's a huge mess. Which is why, like, it didn't make sense that a lot of the directors were getting huge
payouts.
Because it's like you've mismanaged the company, and now you're trying to still milk like the cream off the top. Like
that's the thing. So what happens when you get into bed with the government? Not into getting but because they're doing a lot of government work.
Yeah.
This is what's they're saying. Oh, like, it's the moral hazard. It's just
sounds like such scandalous. Like
it is.
Like the executives, people at the top, like they're getting like exit bonuses of like $1 million plus. But then, like the average workers, like who need the money more than executives.
Yeah, can't afford. There was a guy on the news that was saying if he doesn't get paid, it's down to his last £5.
Yeah.
So it's real. This is not. It's not a joke. They employ 43,000 people worldwide.
That sounds like so, like
literally. I mean, it's
no worse when you think that the government is one of their biggest customers. It's their biggest customer. Because this would be okay if they were trading between another business or back up. Well, it wouldn't be okay, but you'd understand where the sentiment comes from. Yeah, businesses fail all the time, right? And they fail because they're trying to get a profit, right? It's where the pain comes from is that the government have known about this because there were profit warnings twice. Actually, I think more than twice.
A profit warning.
There were profit warnings. Is basically they're coming through and they're saying, "Look, we don't have the money. We don't have this money. We're going to keep doing what we're doing, but we can't continue to operate like this. Well, we're not going to be able to operate at the level that we have done in the past, right? And then,
which meant the share price actually tanked.
Yeah,
like 90% lost. Yeah.
If you search Carillion, I mean, if they're still on, you can still find that sort of information. You'll see at the point of the profit warning, their share price. I had a friend that, I won't get into that. If he's watching right now, this is going to be painful for him. But you think of the government as being in doing stuff in the interest of the people, right? Now they're offering contracts to a company that cannot sustain the work that they've pledged to do, and now you see that the company can't pay out. If you're 60 or 55 and this happens, that's you done. That's you done. You can't get another job and save a pension, right? You can't do it. Like, you're done, right?
Literally working for the rest of your life.
100%, yeah. And then
think about that.
It's scandalous. And the thing, like Andrew was just saying, like these guys have had. It's like it's become endemic within them, their culture. So basically, they have contracts to build hospitals. They've fallen behind on the work. They're building HS2, which is a massive railway infrastructure in the country. They run homes for the government, like military homes. They do a bunch of so they keep getting huge.
It sounds like a joke to me.
As much as we like to see it, it's not a joke because we always say the best payers or the best customers to have is government.
Yeah.
But when you over-rely significantly on just one customer, it's a huge warning signal. It's a huge red flag. Like in accountancy, like when you audit companies, that's the one thing you always check for to see if that company is sustainable going into the future. How many clients? And if one client has like is responsible for most of the revenue.
Yeah,
That's a huge, that's a huge problem, and this is what's been happening for years.
And another thing that I just wanted to flag out there as well, actually, just before they issued these profit warnings, the companies actually held shares in them. So companies like HSBC, Legal and General, sold all their shares before the share price tanked. You know, so you've got it's so many levels. So you've got the senior stakeholders being paid loads of money, and then you've got their financial backers ditching them before everyone finds out, because they're in bed with them, right? So they know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
They get rid.
Is that not insider trading? Is that not legal?
It's how like information is shared, right? Because like
they should have Chinese walls between like the department that approves loans and the part that buys and trades shares, but
if
let's not.
Actually, I ain't looking to get sued.
I can't touch that. That's not right. The way I see it, right, is that even if that was the case, that wouldn't even be nearly the most scandalous thing that's happened in this instance. You know, so much stuff has gone wrong that to nitpick that would just be you know.
But what's with me?
What's new?
But yeah, it's literally from top to bottom.
Everything's
and roundabout. Like it's everybody trying to avoid a disaster or like shift the blame. So government is trying to shift the blame by keeping them in business longer, by giving them new contracts, onto the point that they can't keep going forward. The banks have jumped ship as well, because they realise that we can't. Because imagine that the banks were keeping them afloat, the banks kept giving them loans, so the banks stopped lending them. That's why they had to go. Why they had to go into liquidation. Like. They literally want to be, predators are like, they cut off the source. Yeah. And then you've also got the directors who started jumping shit from last year.
Getting big money for it.
Yeah, I'm getting. So it's.
And that money is to keep quiet. Just so you know, like, I'm leaving, I'm keeping my silence, 1.5 million by.
Hush monies.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Welcome to the world of big business. Big corporation. I actually thought the government was going to bail them out, just because I thought the biggest scandal might be 43,000 jobs going, and in this kind of economy where jobs is so topical, you would have thought preserving those jobs was top priority, but Theresa May was like, oh.
The one thing I will say is that it was one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't situations. If she bails them out, she's now another politician bailing out the fat cats. If she doesn't bail them out, she's like, all these pensions, all these pensions, all these jobs, do you know what I mean? But nobody forced them into that corner. They painted themselves into that corner. There's a situation unfolding that it's their jobs to see arising. Like there are eyes on this. These aren't, like you said, high speed too. These aren't small little jobs. You know, like a school somewhere in Skegness. Like this isn't. You know,
And the great of the entire fallout, like, is still unknown, because a lot of the jobs are then subcontracted through. So it has a wider spillover effect into the construction industry. It has a huge spillover and supporting industry. So no one can fully calculate the true cost of them going under. Like, it's crazy. At least the pensions are protected to some degree because of the there's a scheme where it's almost like an insurance scheme that basically
not PPI again.
No, not PPI, but I think it is a public scheme. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's similar to. No, it's similar to what happened with when the financial crisis happened. Yeah. Where now you're protected, your bank, anything under 80 grand is protected. There's something similar for pensions as well.
Yeah, so hopefully at least retirements. I don't think it fully covers 100%. But I mean, it's the short term as well. What are you gonna do if you have a mortgage or you have kids or you're paying rent?
Wait for your PPI to come in.
Hopefully your landlord is that kind till it comes in.
Hold on.
That's crazy. So, in a nutshell, they failed. The company's completely out of business. All right. So, what happens when that happens to a business when they've completely gone out of business? Like, what's the structure to going from fully fledged business to nothing.
So they will still have assets. So that's where you get in. So they've actually gone into liquidation, not administration. There's a slight difference.
What does that mean?
Administration is where you try and salvage
to avoid liquidation.
Okay, so that's a step beforehand.
Yeah, but they went straight to liquidation, which means they're completely done. They're insolvent. They're going bust. So what now happens?
So there's no going back after liquidation.
No, there's no going back. What happens now is that you have to bring in basically experts to basically
as much as possible from
recoup as much of the loss as possible. So that means in terms of paying off creditors, which includes loan banks,
the money that
the pensions, final salaries, and then at the end, the bottom of the chain will be shareholders.
And I'm about to say that in the sense of if you were talking about earlier about passive income streams, in this scenario, as a shareholder, you're paid loss. So if there is
any money left,
then it'll be you. But there's probably
and then there'll be other sharks swimming around to try and get those contracts that they still have outstanding on the government because
someone needs to build this stuff.
Yeah, someone needs to build those hospitals that are still outstanding. Someone needs to build HS2. so that's what happens in liquidation. Okay. That's what they have to do.
And so what actually happens? So there's 40,000 people. Are they just all
don't ask me
out of a job?
Boy.
Really? That's what it is.
That's the harsh world. Yeah, like I mean, that's why people are so angry about it. These are people like us, right? That are now doing nothing tomorrow. Today's Sunday, by the way. They they're gonna wake up tomorrow. 2 weeks ago they thought they'd have had a job. Now,
all gone.
Yeah, they literally had 29 million left in the bank. And think about a company of that size. 29 million is like £5.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Dealing with £1 billion contracts. So
it's
it shows the importance of. I'm sure you guys said before. Diversifying your investments. So if one, fails, you've got other things to float it up.
Yeah. So from an investor point of view, it means not having all your money invested into Carillion. I hope you're smart enough not to have done that. From the other side, it also spells of like why good governance is important and having a good management in place and not being cavalier when it comes to how you approach business, because you can say you're winning all these contracts, but then is that actually making any money?
Yeah, are they really?
Are they actually profit making?
Okay.
Which sometimes they're not if you're lowballing. And lowballing is actually supposed not to exist, or it's frowned upon, but it happens a lot. Not just in construction, it happens in accounting. It happens everywhere. So, if us three are bidding to audit a company, let's say he's PwC, KPMG, I'm Deloitte.
Oh, thank you.
Like I might try and lowball to try and win you as a business, like win your business. So it happens in every year. It happens in every walk of life.
Okay.
But it just shows the dangers of it.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks so much, guys, for all your information today. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Do you want to shout out anything we have coming up?
Subscribe first.
Yep.
Subscribe. Hit that button.
Ring that bell.
Yeah, ring that bell. No, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, our website. Sign up for our monthly news insights. We do some really nice stuff in that. And hit up Money Tree Man as well.
Yeah, Money Tree Man YouTube channel. I'm there. Instagram, Twitter, you'll find me. We talk a lot about financial independence, and it's really great. Thanks for inviting me, by the way, guys.
Great having you.
We've had a lot of
deep
conversations here. I've learned a lot, and hopefully you guys have too. Keep this going, find out more.
Keep it locked, guys.
Keep it locked. Like and share.
See you guys next time.
No waste.
You're welcome.